Okay, so let's see how we can do subtraction in binary. What I want you to do is to subtract 12 from 78. So go ahead and subtract 12 for 78. Okay, so 78 minus 12, you say, okay, 8 is bigger than 2, so I can subtract 8 and 2, I get 6 here. And then 7 minus 1 also gives me 6. So this one was the first one. Very simple. So the next one, I'm going to ask you to subtract 78 and 19. Subtract 19 from 78. To subtract this one, you say that 9 is greater than 8, so I cannot subtract 9 from 8. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the column to the left. So 7 becomes 6, but this means that a 10 is going to be added to 8. So 8 becomes 18. Remember, the reason of 10 is the base is 10. So you add 10 to 8. 10 plus 8 is 18. So now you subtract 9 from 18, you get 9. And 6 minus 1 becomes 5, sorry. So the answer becomes 59. Is everybody okay so far? Okay. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do another one. Let's this time subtract, let's say 3 from 100. Try this one.
97.
I'm sorry?
97.
Oh, excellent. So let's see how you got 97. I cannot subtract 3 from 0, so I have to borrow from the column to the left. Again, the column to the left is 0. I cannot borrow from this 0. So I have to borrow 1 from the left column. So this one becomes 0. And this one is going to be 10 because of the base plus the value, which is 0. So this becomes 10. Still, I cannot subtract 3 from 0. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the left, which this one becomes 9. And this one, now it becomes 10 plus 0, which is 10. Now, I can subtract 3 from 10, it becomes 7. Now 9, and the bottom one, remember, zeros before number, they don't mean anything. So 9 minus, apparently, the internet here is, the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. Anyway, this is 97. Everybody okay?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's go and start doing examples in binary. Let's say I ask you to subtract 1 from 11 in binary. Again, these are in binary now. Okay, to do this again, remember that 0 before number doesn't mean anything. So I can just add a 0 here. Nothing is going to change. Now, I can subtract 1 from 1, so I get 0. And then 1 minus 0 gives me 1. To check the subtraction, I'm going to change everything to decimal. 1 in decimal is going to give me 3. Remember, this represents 1, this represents 2, 4, 8, 16, and so forth. So 1 is 3, 0, 1 is really 1. 1, 0 becomes 2 because this is 1, this is 2. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So our subtraction worked. Any questions so far? Please turn on the mic if you have any questions. I cannot see the chat here. So, okay. So no questions. I'm going to continue. Let's do the next one. The next one is 10 minus 1. Remember, your base is 2. It's not decimal. It's not base 10 anymore. So you work with number 2 now.
Would the answer just be 1?
The answer is going to be 1, exactly. Perfect. Okay, to do this subtraction, I cannot subtract 1 from 0. So I have to borrow from the left column. So I borrow 1 from 1. So this becomes 0. But this means that I have to add 2 to this 0. So 2 plus 0 becomes 2. Now 2 minus 1 is 1. And this one is also 0 on the left. So 0 minus 0 is 0. Now this one, 1, 0, is really 2 in decimal. Remember, this placeholder is 1. This placeholder is 2. And this one is represented by 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, which is this guy. So it's exactly the same process. The only thing is that when you borrow numbers, this time you are going to return 2, not 10 anymore. Let's continue with the next one. The next one, you have 100, and you want to subtract 1 from it. Go ahead. See if you can do the subtraction here. Okay, to subtract 1 from 100, I cannot subtract 1 from 0. So I have to go to the left column, which is again 0, and I can't borrow anything. So I have to go to the left column, which is 1 here. So I borrow 1 from this guy, this becomes 0, and this becomes 2. Still, I cannot subtract 1 from 0. So I have to borrow 1 from the left column. So this becomes 1, and this becomes how much? What will happen to this?
1.
No, this becomes 2. Because you borrow 1 from this column, and remember, base is 2. So you have to add 2 to the value of this, which is 0. So 2 plus 0 is 2.
Okay.
Now you can subtract 1 from 2, you get 1. This column, there is only 1 here, so 1 comes down. And this column, there is only a 0 here, so 0 comes down. Now, if you look at this one, 100 is 4 in decimal. 1 is 1 in decimal, and this one is 1 plus 2 is 3. 4 minus 2 gives you 3. Is everybody okay? Please. Okay, good. Let's do a little bit more complicated than this one. This borrowing is the only hard part, which you have to get used to it. Now let's do 1,000, subtract 1 from it. Remember, when you borrow, it's going to be 2 now because the base is 2. Exactly. 111 is correct. It's not. MM is correct. 111. Perfect. Yep. VB is correct. Yep. GD, you're correct. 0111. Perfect. Okay, let's see how we do this one again. I cannot subtract 1 from 0 from 1 from 0, so I go to the left column. The left column is also 0. Forget it. Go to the next left column, which is 0. Forget it. So I borrow 1 from this guy. This becomes 0. This becomes 2. Again, I cannot subtract 1 from 0, so I go to the left. 0, I can't, so I go to the left one. I borrow 1 from this guy, and this becomes 2. Again, I cannot subtract 1 from 0, So I go to the left one, and this becomes 1, and this becomes 2. Now I can subtract 1 from 2, so this becomes 1. This column, there is nothing except 1, so 1 comes down. And this column, there is only 1, 1 comes down. Let's change this. This 1000 in binary is 1, 2, 4, 8. And this one is 1. And 1, 1, 1 is 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7. 8 minus 1 is 7, which is correct. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Let's do the last example. The last example is 1010 subtract 10. Exactly, SK, SW, perfect. MA, perfect. Very good. You guys know how to do it. Perfect. Okay, the way you do it is that you look at this column, 0 minus 0 gives you 1. This column, 1 minus 1 gives you 0. This column, there is only a 0, so 0 comes down, and then 1 comes down. So the answer is 1000. Let's check it. 10, 10. Remember, the numbers are 1, 2, 4, 8. The only one that they contribute are the ones, so it's going to be 2 plus 8 is 10. Now for 1, 0, the only one which contributes is this column, which is 2. And for this guy, the only contribution is coming from 1, which is 8. 10 minus 2 is going to give you 8, which is correct.